The psychology of money, mindset, and habits. Money is math, sure, budgets, interest rates, returns. But if you ask most people why they don't save more, invest earlier, or stop buying things they don't need, the answer almost never begins with math. It starts with feelings, stories, habits, and the invisible rules we learned as children. Money is first a psychological problem and only second an arithmetic one. This article explores the mental and emotional side of money, why we spend impulsively, why we compare ourselves to others, how upbringing shapes our financial behaviors, and how to overcome the fear of investing. My goal is to give you practical, relatable tools that change how you think and act around money, because changing behavior, not spreadsheets, is what builds lasting wealth and peace of mind. Why money feels like a problem. Money is a mirror. It reflects our values, anxieties, status, and identity. It also triggers basic survival mechanisms that evolved long before credit cards. When money is tight or uncertain, the brain shifts toward short-term thinking. Immediate needs and safety grab attention and energy. When money seems to promise social status, the brain lights up around cues that make us feel accepted or admired. These reactions are normal. They're human. But normal doesn't mean optimal. Common psychological forces that shape money behavior. 1. Present bias. We overvalue immediate rewards, a new jacket, and undervalue long-term benefits, retirement. The immediate dopamine kick is concrete. Retirement in 30 years is abstract. 2. Loss aversion. Losses hurt more than gains feel good. The fear of losing money in investments or even in a purchase that feels risky often prevents people from taking reasonable actions. 3. Mental accounting. We create mental buckets for dollars, vacation, rent, groceries, and treat money differently depending on its label, even if money is fungible. Social comparison. We use other people as reference points. If our neighbor upgrades their car, our standard of enough shifts. 5. Status signaling. Money is a language for signaling competence, taste, and status. We're wired to care about how others see us. 6. Scarcity mindset. When resources feel limited, cognitive bandwidth narrows and decision-making quality drops. Scarcity hijacks attention. 7. Confirmation bias and stories. We notice and remember financial stories that fit our worldview. For example, investing is risky because we remember one headline about a crash and avoid information that contradicts it. Impulse spending. Why it happens and how to stop. Why impulse spending is so seductive. Impulse buys aren't stupid. They're predictable. Retail design, targeted ads, influencer culture, frictionless checkout, subscription traps, and buy now, pay later systems are engineered to remove barriers and trigger quick, emotionally satisfying purchases. The brain gets a small immediate reward and a dopamine burst that feels good. Add squeezing social validation, likes, compliments, and the loop is powerful. Common emotional triggers. 1. Boredom and novelty seeking. Shopping provides stimulation. 2. Stress relief. Buying for comfort or control during uncertain times. 3. Reward substitution. Buying things to celebrate, with gifts replacing other forms of reward. 4. Identity construction. Buying possessions to feel or signal a different person. For example, if I had these shoes, I'd be more successful. How to make impulse buys less automatic. 1. Make it hard. Introduce friction. Require a 24 or 72-hour waiting period for non-essential purchases over a threshold, e.g. $50 or $100. Put the item in a cart and leave it. A delay often dissipates the impulse. 2. Use the cooling off list. Keep a running list of desired purchases. Reevaluate each item after a set period. Many will fall off. 3. Pre-commitment and automation. Automate savings and bill payments before discretionary spending hits your account. What's out of sight is often out of mind, and that's fine when it's savings. 4. Shield your attention. Turn off marketing emails, unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate, and unsubscribe from store notifications. Out of sight reduces impulse triggers. 5. Budget for fun. Give yourself an allowance for guilt-free discretionary spending. Create guardrails that let you enjoy purchases without sabotaging long-term goals. 6. Use mental accounting intentionally. Create a fun fund within your budget. You won't need to justify every smaller purchase emotionally if it's already planned. A short exercise. The last impulse purchase audit. 1. Write down the last 5 impulse purchases you made. 2. For each answer, why did I buy it? How did I feel before and after? Was it worth the money? Could I have waited? What pattern do you see? 3. Use that insight to create one rule, for example, add a 48-hour wait to break the pattern. Keeping up with the Joneses, social comparison, and the cost of status. Humans are social animals. From an evolutionary standpoint, status had real resource and reproductive consequences, so we pay an outsized mental price for status cues. Today, status is signaled by cars, houses, vacations, clothes, and digital lifestyles. Social media intensifies comparison by showing only curated highlights. When your feed is a stream of other people's best moments, it's easy to believe everyone else is thriving and you're falling behind. How social comparison distorts financial decisions. Upward comparison reduces satisfaction. Seeing better lifestyles triggers dissatisfaction with your own choices, even if your objective situation is fine. 1. Lifestyle inflation. As income rises, spending often rises faster because the reference group shifts. 2. Compulsive upgrades. Buying things to match peers rather than based on personal values. 3. Hidden cost of impression management. Borrowing to signal status creates long-term stress and debt, which erodes quality of life. Practical strategies to resist status pressure. 1. Reframe what status means to you. Is it admiration, security, freedom? Shift toward internal sustainable markers. Time with family, health, autonomy. 2. Curate your comparison set. Limit exposure to people whose lifestyles make you feel bad or whose financial realities differ widely from yours. Follow people who model values-based living. 3. Focus on value per dollar. Ask, does this thing deliver lasting value or just a short-lived status bump? An expensive watch might carry pride for years. A flashy TV room might be old news in months. 4. Define a mission-first budget. Prioritize spending on things aligned with your life goals. If travel, learning, or entrepreneurship matters, spend there. If not, don't let social pressure redirect your funds. 5. Use gratitude and perspective. Regularly list what the money you have already buys, safety, health, relationships, to reduce the pull of comparison. A story. The apartment upgrade. A client once told me, I knew we couldn't afford a bigger place, but every time friends posted their new lofts, it ate at me. We decided to spend a year tracking our happiness and finances. We realized we loved our neighborhood, our commute was shorter, and we had a strong community. The new apartment would have cost more time and blocked other goals. We chose experiences over square footage and felt better. That decision wasn't about deprivation. It was about realigning identity and priorities against social pressure. Overcoming the fear of investing. Fear of investing is not irrational. Headlines scream about volatility. Stories about people losing money are salient. But the fear often stems from misunderstanding, paralysis by complexity, or a single traumatic event, a market crash, a bad advice encounter. The result is expensive. Staying out of markets can mean missing decades of compound growth. Why fear persists. 1. Loss aversion and recency bias. Recent market downturns loom large. 2. Ambiguity and complexity. Investing seems technical. I don't understand it is a powerful justification for inaction. 3. Identity mismatch. Risk-taking feels inconsistent with personal identity. I'm a conservative spender. 4. Control illusion. People overestimate their ability to time the market or to beat randomness. How to move from fear to action. 1. Education with humility. Learn basics, indexing, diversification, fees, and time horizons. You don't need to master finance to start small. 2. Start tiny and regular. Use dollar cost averaging. Commit a small amount each month. Action matters more than amount at the beginning. 3. Separate learning from action. If you wait to fully understand, you'll never start. Place a small time-limited bet to learn by doing. 4. Frame volatility as an ally. Volatility means buying opportunity. When prices fall, people panic. Those investing steadily can buy cheaper. 5. Build safety layers. Have an emergency fund so you're not forced to sell in a downturn. If you need a portion of the money within 5 years, keep it conservative. 6. Use default options. If offered workplace retirement accounts, default into them. If you use robo-advisors or target date funds, the decision architecture reduces anxiety. 7. Normalize discomfort. Expect some worry. Plan for it. If you know your strategy and have guardrails, you'll handle downturns better. A practical pathway to get started. 1. Emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of essentials. Less if you have stable income, more if variable. 2. Employer plan. Contribute enough to get full match. 3. Tax-advantaged accounts. Start with IRAs or similar vehicles depending on your country. 4. Low-cost index funds or diversified ETFs. For most people, these are excellent starting points. 5. Reassess annually, not daily. Checking too often fuels anxiety and bad timing decisions. Your upbringing and the money scripts you inherited. Our earliest money lessons are rarely explicit financial classes. Instead, they are transmitted through stories, behavior, emotional tone, and family rituals. These money scripts shape our automatic reactions and beliefs about money throughout life. Common money scripts examples. 1. Money is scarce. Rooted in stories of deprivation or trauma, this script makes people hoard, avoid spending on joy, or take excessive financial risks to escape scarcity. 2. Money is love. If caregivers equated money with affection, spending to show love, people may feel duty-bound to spend on family or crush boundaries. 3. Money is bad. If money was framed negatively, people may feel guilt about earning or desiring wealth. 4. I'm not good with money. Learned helplessness, if repeated advice was, you'll never manage money, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. 5. Work hard, scrimp, and sacrifice. A script that valorizes frugality and suffering as moral virtues but can lead to burnout and avoidable deprivation. How upbringing shows up in adult finance. 1. Replication of parental patterns. You might unconsciously copy the spending or negotiation styles you observed. 2. Emotional triggers. Specific events can trigger childhood memories. For example, a parent's stress during late-night financial calls. 3. Intergenerational trauma or abundance. A family with a history of scarcity may pass adaptive survival strategies that are maladaptive in modern contexts. How to identify and rewrite money scripts. 1. Map your money timeline. Write down vivid memories related to money. A childhood argument about a bill, the first time you got paid, a gift that made you feel loved. Note the emotional tone and core lessons you internalized. 2. Name the script. Once you see recurring themes, label them. Figamchi, scarcity, money equals love. 3. Test the script against reality. Gather data. Has this belief helped you? Where has it held you back? Use specific examples. 4. Create a counter story. Replace the script with an intentional narrative. For example, money is a tool that gives me options and security. 5. Behavioral experiments. Act against the script in small ways. If money is scary leads to avoiding investing, try a small, painful experiment. Invest $50 monthly and journal your feelings. 6. Seek therapy or financial coaching. Money scripts can be deep and tied to emotions and trauma. Professionals trained in financial therapy can help rework these core beliefs. A reflective exercise. Money conversations. 1. List the phrases you heard about money growing up. For example, we don't talk about money. Rich people are greedy. 2. Next to each, write how that phrase affects your current decisions. 3. For 3 phrases, write a new empowering sentence and practice saying it out loud weekly. Habits, rituals, and decision architecture that stick. Changing thinking is important. Changing habits is everything. Psychology suggests that sustainable financial change happens when you alter your environment and make better decisions almost automatic. Designing an environment for better money habits. 1. Automate savings and investments. Have money moved to savings or investment accounts the day you get paid. Treat savings like a bill. 2. Use defaults and friction. Make bad choices slightly harder. Delete stored card info on shopping apps, and good choices seamless. Auto-enroll in pensions. 3. Track without obsession. Use a monthly review rather than daily checks that trigger emotional decision-making. A monthly habit preserves awareness without micromanaging life. 4. Habit stacking. Attach a new financial habit to an existing routine. Right after making coffee, review one financial metric. 5. Use commitment devices. Make future decisions irreversible enough to stick. Example, commitment contracts for savings or investment increases. 6. Celebrate small wins. Reward adherence to savings goals. Positive reinforcement builds momentum. Daily and weekly rituals. 1. Daily, a 1 to 2 minute check-in. Did I spend according to my values today? 2. Weekly, review discretionary spending, check subscriptions, and cancel any unwanted services. 3. Monthly, reconcile accounts, review net worth trends, not daily volatility, and set one micro goal. 4. Rebalance investments, reassess goals, and adjust automations. 5. Yearly, review long-term goals, tax planning, and major life changes. Examples of practical micro-habits. 1.24-hour purchase rule for impulse buys. 2. No small purchases rule for unexplained $5 buys that add up. 3. Use cash envelope for certain discretionary categories to feel wallet impact. 4. One-click pause for subscriptions. Unsubscribe before one renewal to reduce automatic renewals you don't value. Money and relationships. Money is the top topic couples fight about, and it's often driven by mismatched psychological frameworks rather than dollars. Different money scripts, differing risk tolerance, and different time horizons create conflict. The good news? Transparent systems and rituals can reduce emotional charge. Healthy money conversation techniques. 1. Schedule conversations. Create regular, non-urgent money talks, monthly check-ins, rather than reacting to crisis. 2. Use values-based framing. Discuss what money should do for you as a couple, security, travel, children's education, rather than arguing about line items. 3. Create shared and individual accounts. Respect autonomy while building joint goals. Allocate personal fun money for each partner. 4. Agree on roles and systems. Who pays which bills? Who tracks investments? Clear roles reduce friction. 5. Normalize different tolerances. Respect that one partner may be a saver and the other a spender. Use mechanisms, for example, a threshold for joint spending, to protect both. 6. Practice non-blaming language. Use I statements. I feel anxious when we have credit card debt, rather than you statements. Money and family conversations with children. 1. Age-appropriate exposure builds competence. Start allowances, chores, and saving lessons early. 2. Teach through experience. Give children opportunities to budget for small wants. 3. Talk about mistakes. Sharing your errors helps normalize realistic money behavior and resilience. The role of narrative and identity. If habits are the mechanics, identity is the engine. People who see themselves as savvy investors, frugal but happy, or entrepreneurial behave in ways consistent with those identities. Altering identity is more powerful than trying to hold behavior with willpower alone. How to build a money identity. 1. Declare it. Say it clearly. I am someone who saves for the future is more effective than I want to save. 2. Act consistent with identity in small ways. Tiny actions, automatic transfers, declining unnecessary upgrades, signal and reinforce the identity. 3. Surround yourself with cues. Visual reminders of goals. A photo of a retirement dream, a vision board, help align decisions. 4. Use affirmations thoughtfully. Combine mental reframes with behavior. An affirmation without action is hollow. 5. Public commitment. Tell close friends about your plan. Social accountability increases follow-through. Realistic, relational tools. What you can do tomorrow. Here are practical steps, broken down by immediacy, that you can do tomorrow or this week to change money behavior. Tomorrow. 1. Turn off marketing emails and disable social shopping notifications. 2. Move one recurring small amount from checking to savings automatically. 3. Delete one stored payment method from an app that tempts you. This week. 1.do quick subscription audit and cancel what you don't use. 2. Set a 48-hour rule for non-essential purchases. 3. Schedule a 30-minute non-urgent money chat with your partner or a friend for accountability. This month. 1. Create a value alignment spending audit. Identify top 3 values: freedom, health, learning, and see how your top 3 spending categories match. 2. Automate a savings or investment transfer for the day you're paid. 3. Make a small investment, even N50,000, 00000, to experience the mechanics. In 3 months. 1. Reassess your emergency fund and adjust automation. 2. Complete a money timeline and identify one money script to rewrite. 3. Increase workplace retirement contributions if you can get a match. When to seek help. Money problems can be symptomatic of deeper emotional or systemic issues. Seek help when 1. Debt is overwhelming and you can't see a way out alone. 2. Money fights are frequent and intense in relationships. 3. Financial decisions trigger panic, freezing, or impulsivity tied to trauma. 4. You suspect addiction-like behavior with shopping or risk-taking. Types of help. 1. Financial coach or planner, for practical plans and accountability. 2. Financial therapist, for emotional and behavioral patterns associated with money. 3. Credit counselor, for dealing with debt and negotiating with creditors. 4. Support groups, peer communities that normalize struggles and share solutions. Stories of change, small shifts, big outcomes. Real change often looks boring. It's the person who automated savings, kept their spending steady, slowly invested, and 30 years later had financial freedom. It's the couple who defined their values and stopped fighting about credit cards. It's the person who stopped scrolling and started saving. These aren't overnight miracles, they're compounding habits. Example, Sam's 1% rule. Sam felt overwhelmed by investing. He made a commitment. Move 1% of his paycheck into savings each month and increase it by 1% each quarter. Within a year, he'd moved 6% automatically without feeling the pinch. He diversified into index funds and, within 5 years, had an emergency cushion and a growing retirement account. The psychological payoff was huge. Confidence replaced fear. Example, Maya's meaning budget. Maya loved travel but kept overspending on clothes to feel polished. She created a meaning budget, earmarking money for travel and experiences and capping clothing at a reasonable amount. The constraint didn't feel like deprivation, it felt prioritization. She traveled more and spent less on temporary status purchases. Obstacles, relapses, and compassion. Behavior change isn't linear. You will slip. The crucial part is how you respond. Shame and self-flagellation rarely help. Curiosity and accountability do. Build systems that minimize the cost of relapses and make it easy to restart. What to do after a setback? 1. Pause without judgment. Observe what triggered the lapse. 2. Reframe the relapse as data. What does it tell you about environment and cues? 3. Adjust systems. If a sale email triggered the buy, unsubscribe. If boredom drove the splurge, create alternative coping mechanisms. 4. Recommit with a specific plan. Small, immediate actions are most effective. The bigger picture. Money as a tool, not identity. At the end of the day, money should serve your life, not become your life. The healthiest financial approach treats money as a tool for creating time, options, and meaning. The psychology of money is ultimately about aligning daily behaviors with long-term values. Final practical checklist, one-page summary. 1. Automate savings, investments, and bill payments. 2. Pause a 24 to 72-hour rule for non-essential purchases. 3. Track monthly review of accounts and net worth trends. 4. Limit exposure unsubscribe and unfollow status-triggering channels. 5. Reframe write your money identity statement and repeat it weekly. 6. Start small. Invest a tiny regular amount to build habit and experience. 7. Communicate. Schedule regular money conversations with partners or a trusted friend. 8. Reflect. Create a money timeline to surface scripts and design experiments to test them. 9. Seek help. When emotions or debt overwhelm you, get professional support. Start with behavior. Follow with structure. Numbers matter, but psychology drives the numbers. The most transformative financial changes begin not with spreadsheets, but with tiny behavioral shifts. A rule that creates friction against impulse, an automation that forces saving, a conversation that aligns values across a family. Money psychology is not about one-time inspiration. It's about designing an environment and identity that makes good financial choices the easy default path. 3 important takeaways. 1. Behavior beats knowledge. Do small, repeatable things consistently. 2. Your story matters. Identify the scripts you inherited and decide which to keep and which to rewrite. 3. Compassion fuels change. Be curious, not ashamed. Habits were built for you. They can be rebuilt by you too.